During the opening segment of this program, Vince McMahon and his darling daughter Stephanie, the recently rescued darling daughter Stephanie, from the clutches of The Undertaker by Stone Cold Steve Austin, the unlikely alliance between Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. Fortunately, they wouldn't try to actually have a union between them just about 2 years after this program. Oh, wait, they did. But Vince McMahon, Stephanie in the ring, and the fans were chanting, "Asshole, asshole, asshole." And Vince McMahon looked around and said, "You're right, I've been that, but hopefully I can change." You want to talk about things that have not aged all that goddamn well since then? Oh boy. Oh goddamn boy. Vince McMahon, he didn't have skeletons in his goddamn closet. He had a goddamn row upon row upon row of basically people that he screwed over in more ways than one. Yeah, let's get to it. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of the WWE Smackdown pilot episode on UPN. Who remembers the UPN network? Who remembers that? Genuinely, I want to know who remembers UPN. Yes, as WWF, that's what it was at the time. WWF, even though I called it WWE Smackdown, I kind of got in the mode of doing that. But this sweet shirt, where my sister actually bought the shirt, looked at the logo and painted it, and I cherished this goddamn shirt, and I just wanted to hold that up because, yes, it was still WWF and would be WWF for another 3 or so years. Actually, just over 3 years, because right before Judgment Day 2002 happened, they had to get the F out. And yeah, this is when they were riding high in WCW. Even though their pay-per-view business was still kind of okay at this point, the ratings would start to cascade down. And UPN said, "We want in on the goddamn pie, so here's a chance to do a pilot, and maybe it'll be picked up." It was picked up about 3.5 months later, or just about 4 months later. It was picked up near the end of August, I believe. So, basically, the reason for this show and why it's memorable, besides the fact it was a SmackDown pilot episode, this is right off the heels of Backlash, where, yeah, let's just say things didn't go all that well for Rock the Dwayne Johnson, and he ended up turning full-fledged face. The crowd were given the green light to cheer him, and boy fucking did they. So Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon are in a struggle for power, you know, in the company and everything. Jesus. You know, there were things that I liked on this show. There were things that reminded me. There are some aspects of the Attitude Era that have aged like goddamn milk. So, I did like how they recapped the end of Backlash. "Where to, Stephanie?" And then the unholy wedding, unholy union, whatever the fuck they were going to call it, where Austin rescued Stephanie. Just hilarious. And this was taped after Raw, I believe, because it still had the red curtain and stuff like that. It didn't have the SmackDown set because it was a pilot. Why build a set for something that might not be picked up? Michael Cole and Jim Cornette, your friend and mine, Jim Cornette, were on commentary. This is right before Jim Cornette decided to go back to Louisville and be part of OVW. And it was for the best, honestly, because he was able to help train and cultivate some talents. Some that worked out, and some that were given such shit gimmicks, the Spirit Squad and the Bashams, and yeah, Linda Miles was goddamn doomed. That piece of shit couldn't fucking work at all, but yes, he would end up basically leaving the main roster WWF product, go back to OVW, and then would slap Santino when the Boogeyman could have ripped Santino apart, and I would have loved to have seen that, because Santino, I don't care what, you know, discipline he trained in, he's a goddamn shitbag. So, that being said, it was nice to hear Cole and Cornette call the action. Even though you could tell, especially listening to Cornette's podcast, which, yes, I listen to. Sorry. I enjoy it, even if I don't agree with every single thing that he says. I listen to a lot of podcasts and don't agree with every single thing that somebody says. But for pure entertainment and wrestling history especially, he tried to make the most sense of some of this bullshit. Now, I think there was maybe 30 minutes of action on this entire show, and that's being generous. So, yeah, here's Vince and Steph and security, and boy, Stephanie, just looking all doe-eyed and everything, and just about 2.5 years before she would compare the 9/11 towers falling to, you know, the fact that her family was targeted during the steroid trial. You fucking bitch. Fucking goddamn. She deserves to be ridiculed for that. And it wasn't because she was a young woman, young and fancy free and everything and just head in the clouds. No, she was God. She knew what the fuck she was saying. So, yeah, they want to thank everybody for helping, rescue Stephanie, especially Stone Cold. I was taken against my will, stripped of my clothes. The fans are cheering Stephanie saying this, by the way. Dressed in a black gown for an unholy wedding. I've never felt so violated in my whole life. What about the various women that your father assaulted, Stephanie, that you probably knew about and you're trying to run away from? What about that? Yeah, anyway. Here's Shane with China, Big Boss Man, Triple H, and the Mean Street Posse. A couple of these people being gone already is really, really goddamn sad. I think everybody in the Mean Street Posse is still alive. This went on forever, though, because it was Shane and Vince sniping back and forth. Shane, basically, he kicks them out, and he focuses on Austin and Rock because he owns the company. He runs things around here because Shawn Michaels was taken out because even though he's the commissioner, he would bop in here and there when he wasn't pilled out of his goddamn mind. And, yeah, it's going to be a tag match. It's going to be Triple H and who? Oh, wait, New Day isn't even there. They weren't even thought of. Suddenly, Undertaker appears on the screen. They had to lower his music so the fans could sort of hear him. And there you are. He wants in on it because of what Austin did. And then we have Jeff Jarrett looking for Owen Hart. And then the Blue Blazers running about him backstage. Woo! I'm going to say right now that, yes, I did miss out on the 25-year anniversary of this show. I'm not going to... I can't retro review Over the Edge. I thought about it. I wanted to. I may, when I have some better finances, I'll at least make a donation to the Owen Hart Foundation or something, but I can't rewatch that. I can't. I fucking can't do it. I thought I could. I thought I could do that. And the Raw's War, the Owen Hart tribute episode, just can't do it. Shout out to Wrestling Bios, by the way, for doing that and raising money for the Owen Hart Foundation. That was a very good cause. But Val Venus is in the ring, and it's funny how Val Venus turned into a right-wing crackpot nut job, despite the fact that he got over being a porn star. Maybe that's why, because he was so ashamed of it. He was a fine worker, but honestly, if he hadn't gotten the Val Venus gimmick, who would remember him? Legit, who would remember him? Remember when he appeared in TNA for a little bit and he was out of shape and a goddamn piece of shit and practically just a goddamn beanbag chair with legs? So, Jarrett distracts Val, and then the Blue Blazer attacks Val Venus. 21 minutes into a 89-minute show. This is 89 minutes, by the way, with the commercials taken out. Deborah distracts Jarrett, low blows Val while he has his fisherman suplex finisher hit. And then the Blazer wins in like 2 minutes. If it was over 2 minutes, it wasn't by much. Then Nicole Bass goes after Val. And the Godfather runs down. He wants Deborah in his group. They had recently done something where Deborah was going to have to become a hoe. Like that would be a stretch for her. 2-on-1 beatdown. And there you go. That's pretty much it right there. Owen Hart really deserved better than that, and you have to wonder what would have happened with Owen Hart had he lived on. I remember doing a what if video a while ago on that. I just, honestly, if he had retired in 2000, 2001, whatever, I just would have wanted him to spend time with his family, because the family needed to. Martha needed her husband, and the kids needed their father. And it will haunt me until the day I leave this earth. That I didn't understand why Martha had the mindset she did until I saw the Dark Side of the Ring episode. Now, to be fair, I wasn't the only fan, but now I'm totally on her side. Kevin Kelly talks to the Blue Blazer, says, Owen, I'm not Owen. I'm looking for Owen. Where is he? I wasn't even there. It was Owen. If you get that, you get that. He wants to clean up the WWF. Say your prayers, take your vitamins, and drink your milk. Woo! God, poor Owen. I mean, I know that's the gimmick he came into WWF with, but god damn it. Ugh. It wasn't good. Speaking of not good, Test versus Big Show, because I think one of the entrances for the wrestler, either wrestler, lasted longer than the match. Boss Man came down and ended up doing a distraction, well, try to do a distraction, but Test got hit with a drop kick and a choke slam. Boss Man choked out Test, or clocked him with the goddamn nightstick, and then Big Show ran him off. Remember the Union? It was Big Show, Mankind, Shamrock, Test, and Vince was with them. And that lasted 3 weeks? Maybe? I know they ended up even having a theme. It was like the Nation of Domination beginning and then Union. Who remembers this shit? How do I remember this shit? Raw comes out to a pop, and boy, they love to cheer him. Rudy Poo, candy ass, all that stuff. Saying that he'll stick his horns up Austin's ass and turn them son bitches sideways. That sounds very painful. Sounds like a human centipede with bulls involved. Which I kind of want to see now. I'm a sick man. Austin comes out to a pop, big glass break. Here's Shane and then Taker and everybody from the corporation and the ministry that's left that wasn't kicked out. I'd like to introduce you to the corporate ministry. That lasted 6 weeks? Maybe? I think by the time we got to King of the Ring, King of the Ring, let's see. King of the Ring was after, so it might have lasted about 2.5 months. It didn't last very goddamn long. WWF was very, very faction heavy here. Fortunately, one of the writers didn't take that mindset and carry it all the way over to WC. That's right, Russo did. So, yeah, the corporate ministry was formed. What an era that was. Kevin Kelly's with X-Pac, and Kane. They've had issues. After a bloodbath, Kane turned his anger towards X-Pac because he decided to make too much noise. But they're going to retain the tag titles. But before that, Draws, with his huge Buff Bagwell-inspired hat, along with Prince Albert and his case, where he pierces people, took on D'Lo with Ivory. And this, by the way, was 11 minutes after the second match, and it's eerie that they had a match on Smackdown here, and then unfortunately, a match that has not aired, where Draws suffered suffered the paralysis that confined him to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Even though he kept a positive attitude, and him and D'Lo didn't blame each other. I'm not blaming D'Lo either. It's an accident. D'Lo's haunted by that. I can understand why. It wasn't his fault. But it's just eerie thinking what would happen just about 5.5 months later. So, D'Lo basically springboards outside onto both of them, and then Albert ends up press slamming D'Lo in a kind of hitting a variation of just like, pseudo Falcon Arrow, kind of press slam Falcon Arrow. And then Ivory runs off, and then Albert's going to pierce D'Lo, and then here's Mark Henry dressed as a giant avocado, the sexual avocado chocolate. Gross, that doesn't sound tasty at all. And he runs him off, and there we go. Kevin Kelly's with the New Age Outlaws, and Billy is all business, and Road Dogg wants to be all anti-vax and bullshit and everything. Oh, wait, that was later, when he was a goddamn tub of goo, and he was a piece of shit, and he deserves every bad thing to happen to him. They say he had a heart attack. He doesn't have a heart. Nevertheless, hey, maybe his wife and kids will leave him, and he'll end up alone and afraid. So, X-Pac and Kane took on the New Age Outlaws. See, I'm just going to throw snark in here because I really don't care anymore, because I'm just going to have fun with this. Why? Because I don't give a shit. So, never meet your heroes and never find out more about people that you used to like when you were younger, because then it might taint your opinion on them. So, a tag title match where basically Billy was all business, X-Pac got isolated. This got some time. The referee ignored the low blow. Good job. Good job there, referee. It's like, oh, well, I was supposed to not see that. Whatever. And X-Pac ended up pinning Billy, don't be a hero, when Road Dogg accidentally clipped Billy, and there we are. Billy was pissed at Road Dogg backstage. Michael Hayes brings out the Brood. The Brood's going to talk, and Gangrel Gangrel has that glass of red liquid. They call it a bloodbath, but this is a glass of red liquid. Never understood that. The red of the new blood. And we live our gothic lifestyle. I think it's probably a good thing that they maybe didn't have Gangrel talk as much on WWF television. And Gangrel was great in the Luna Vachon Dark Side of the Ring. And he seems like a nice guy, but just this was not good. I don't know if it was the teeth. I don't know what the hell it was. And then Edge got a pop for being kind of goofy here, but There was some shrill screaming. I mean, that was nice. The girls really just wanted to hear those dulcet, tones and watch him flick his tongue out. But they wanted to give Edge head, is what I'm saying, because I had to reference something. Beware, take care, because the freaks come out at night. If he had done the Skeletor runoff, it just would have been even better. But then, Hayes ends up getting covered in the bloodbath. As Not Dr. Death said on Twitter, Michael period sex Hayes. And I said, you went to the Bad Street Atlanta GA spot. Steve is a goddamn witty individual and a very smart individual and says a lot of really good jokes. Ones that I could not think of if I was on my best day. Not my best behavior, because I'm never on my best behavior. So, it was kind of funny that Hayes was covered in a bloodbath, and then he would end up bringing the Hardys in and team up with them briefly. So Kevin Kelly is with Shamrock, and this is about Bradshaw, and how Bradshaw has cost him, matches before, and he wants revenge. Shamrock then took on Bradshaw where a bat was involved, because it was a street fight. So, yeah, there were two shirtless dudes in the front row. How many beers were they in? Who knows? I don't remember where this was filmed, by the way. It was filmed somewhere in close proximity to wherever Backlash 99 was. Which maybe, I don't know, maybe since, Kemper Arena. Kemper Arena was over the edge. So maybe it's St. Louis. I don't actually remember. Answers in the I forgot to write down. Answers in the comments if you want. Yeah, good bat shots. Not good back shots. Even though I love me a good back shot. You will not, find any dirty tone there. And a headshot, and then basically the 89 days till Raw as Jericho sign. Now, they were just a bit off. Just a bit off. They weren't far off, though. They were like 2 weeks off. The chokeout with the bat, and Shamrock wins. And then he beats up Slaughter when Slaughter tries to break the thing up. Shamrock would be gone by SummerSlam 99 or just after. I think Jericho would take him out. And Mankind does some comedy. I enjoy the Boiler Room because I like the ambiance. I wear, a sweaty mask because it helps me sell t-shirts. And I wear a shirt and tie because it looks professional or it looks good. And then we hear Billy yelling for X-Pac. And then we find out that he beat up X-Pac, Pac, backstage. And Kane was upset. Kane simply confused. Maybe he was going to the bathroom and it's hard to get out of that suit quickly. Boss Man took up Mankind. Test came down. Scared Boss Man. And Mankind almost got the victory. And then Big Show came down and press slammed Boss Man into the ring. And Teddy Long, for whatever reason, said, well, I didn't see that. Boss Man did it first. I don't know. Maybe because he was law enforcement? That's mean. What's wrong with me? He just said, I'm going to ignore that, playa. And, yeah, the Mandible Claw wins it. Mr. Socko wins it. And then Austin and Rock took on Taker and Triple H. That was a fine TV match, but ended in a giant melee. With everybody from the corporate ministry and other faces, and popcorn vendors and cotton candy vendors, and even janitors got in with mops and were nah, 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 nah. And then basically we had Vince end up attacking Shane, or stopping Shane, because Vince and Stephanie had left. Vince ends up punching Shane. About like that. He sure knew how to take advantage of women, but he never knew how to throw a punch. Nor did he know how to do good English. I need money now. Me sick. Oh, he card read good. So yeah, the chair shot that Undertaker gave him, that was certainly something. Taker probably, prepped for Canyon by doing that, or remembered what he did to Vince and said, I could do it even harder on Canyon, because Canyon was a gay man, and Taker hates gay people. So, stunners all around. Taker got a stunner, Shane got a stunner, and then he woke up Vince by pouring beer on him. That's it. That's it for the SmackDown pilot. Am I going to retro-review more SmackDowns? Maybe occasionally. I'll probably retro-review some more stuff rather than watch all the current stuff, because really, sometimes it's fun to look back on some of this. A couple of retro reviews that I will be doing in the summer. The Raw and Nitros for $8/9.99 because Jericho's debut, and Nitros in Boise, Idaho, which is a big goddamn deal. And Hogan returned in the red and yellow, and it actually was a nice head-to-head battle. And after Wrestling Bios covered it. I decided I might want to do that because that was some pretty good stuff. And also, Great American Bash 99 and various other pay-per-views that I have not covered. But a lot of movies. A lot of fucking movies. So get ready. So agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.